Hi, my name is Sophie Gould.
I'm Kieran Rajpaksi.
Okay, my name's Kate Stokes.
Hi, my name is Philip.
I try to keep pepper spray on me or in my pocket or on my keychain. Pepper spray or the personal alarm, or just always being with a friend or a guy friend mostly, because I feel more safe around when I go out if I have guys with me, just because I feel like if I were to be assaulted, the likelihood would be less if I have a male near me.
It's not really something I've thought of too much. I've spent quite a few nights after the bars walking home by myself. I try to make sure that my friends don't go walk home by themselves, but I don't really worry about it myself too much.
Yeah, I make sure that if I'm getting in a car at night, I look under the car and make sure there aren't feet on the other side. I never walk with headphones in when I'm walking alone at night. And I carry pepper spray.
Well, honestly, not much, but usually I'll make sure that I'm not too inebriated and that I'm able to physically know what's going on around me. And if anything were to arise, I would be in a state where I can resist. And being around friends definitely helps.
I'm in a leadership position right now, and I have felt as though I have been challenged, and I'm not sure if it's because I am a woman, but there's a bunch of men in my organization that have been pretty rude to me on different occasions. So I don't know if that's because I'm a woman, but I have wondered to myself, would they do this or kind of question my authority if I was a man?
Not particularly, no. I mean, I've never really had a harsh experience as a guy like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, just like in high school, I was the wrestling manager, and everyone, I knew how to wrestle, but everyone just assumed I was just some girl that was taking notes when I actually knew what was going on. And I would say I'm also a big football fan, and so I'll wear a jersey around campus sometimes and get these looks, and I just know from guys that they're like, oh, she probably doesn't know anything about football.
Strikingly, probably not, that I can really think of.
Yes, my mom likes to comment on it, but I don't know if that's just because she's a mom, but also if I've been out with a guy and they ask my body count, and I don't want to answer, that that seems like a red flag to them, but it's unnecessary to answer and it doesn't matter. And so I've been shamed for not answering that question, and then I've also been kind of, I think, looked at differently from some of my friends for how many people I've slept with.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, I would say there's some self-shame, just because I think society tells men that they can have as many sexual partners as they want, or, do whatever they want, but when a woman does it, it's seen as slutty or not okay, gross, and that's just kind of been perpetuated since the country was founded. And so I just think it's interesting how taboo it is to talk about how many sexual partners you have. But yeah, I've definitely felt shame from girlfriends too, who haven't had as many as I have per se, and then definitely myself.
No.
Yeah, I think the portrayal of women in the media, whether that be social media, print media, or movies and TV, have upheld a certain standard of beauty, and I grew up really wanting that, and I saw the people around me wanting that, whether it was my mom or my sister, the people around me talking about plastic surgery in order to fix certain imperfections that they deemed
ugly about themselves, and I think that if the standard of beauty wasn't as impossible, then people would be more confident, and I would be more confident too.
In a sense, yeah. I feel like there's a certain pressure on guys to maintain like that emotional threshold and not break through it, and like kind of contain themselves. But I feel like that's starting to change with our generation, and men like it's being taught from a younger age that it's okay to like experience emotions. But that might just be from my perspective.
Yeah, especially in Colorado. I think there's a lot of these like Instagram famous girls that have these crazy bodies and go get work done, and everyone's just kind of expected to look like that. I think there's a really interesting and peculiar like beauty standard in Boulder. Like it's the beach blonde hair, fake tan, fake nails, fake eyelashes. So yeah, it can be a little frustrating not fitting into that mold. But I guess as I've gotten older, I've kind of realized there's no point. So, but yeah, I would say social media and just like how society works for sure pressures me into wanting to look a certain way.
Well, I think social media in general kind of puts on like pressure on people to kind of make sure that what they're doing is something that is worthwhile at all times, because you only ever see the good stuff. So I think maybe there might be an element of that, but typically I think most people know how to look past that and are aware that social media is kind of not honest. So I wouldn't say too much.
I think I've been afraid to share my opinion in academic settings or in group settings. I'm trying to get over that because I do have a very loud opinion and voice. But I remember growing up, I would be afraid to share my opinion or use my voice in fear of being seen as too bossy or being seen as not a feminine, easygoing, like nice woman, So I think those standards have definitely contributed to who I used to be, but now as I'm more aware of kind of who I am and what I want, I am becoming more comfortable sharing my opinion confidently.
Who you are today.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely shaped me a lot. Like clothes I wear, things I do, what I'm interested in. Like I'm very into video games and things like that, and I feel like that is quite a male-dominated hobby. I think it definitely has shaped what I'm doing, but I am also doing psychology, which is a like majorly female major, and uh, it changes the way you think, but I don't think it shaped me as a person. Obviously, experiences you have, things you do, it changes you as well.
I guess a specific example of that is I think sometimes I dress like more tomboy or not girly girl, and I can see how I like am treated differently. Like if I'm wearing like leather pants and a crop top versus overalls and a like hat, like this. So I would say that it's also just been ingrained for me because at such a young age, heteronormativity was taught to me, and this is how you're supposed to look and dress. And I remember when I was a kid, we would always say pink job or blue jobs based off if my mom did it or my dad did it. And just looking back, I think it's a bigger problem outside of, just my family or how I was raised. It's society's problem, so.
I would say so, yeah. There's always kind of like an unset expectation where if you're a guy, you kind of have to be not necessarily always open with your feelings, and maybe that's impacted me growing up to be a little bit more closed in that regard. That's what I would say.